We must be careful not to write off those that Yah is seeking to write in. Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10-Minute Torah, day number 1, a Torah portion, Toldot. We began in Bereshit, or Genesis, chapter 25, and verse number 19. And that verse reads as follows. This is the genealogy of Yitzhak, or Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham brought forth Yitzhak, the word genealogy there being Toldot, which also can be translated as generations. Just prior to this listing of the generations and family line of Yitzhak, or Isaac, we read about the descendants of Ishmael. Back when Hagar and Ishmael were out of water and facing death in the wilderness, the messenger of Elohim rescued them, and Hagar heard the voice of Elohim saying that, "Be of good cheer, I'm going to raise up Ishmael and make of him a great nation." As we read his genealogy, we find that there are 12 chiefs, 12 significant men, leaders of tribes, who descended from Ishmael. But while they're given a momentary spot in the spotlight, if you will, they fade into the darkness. It is the storyline and the lineage and history of Yaakov, of Yitzhak, Yaakov, and the tribes that continue on. So the scriptures focus more on those that belong to Am Israel than Ishmael. Let's be reminded then that those momentary movements or causes or groups of people or individuals, nations, that seem to have significance and power and authority and work against the kingdom of Elohim, they are momentary. They may rise up, they may have significance and prominence for a moment, but it is those who belong to Yeshua and his kingdom that will prevail. As Revelation calls us overcomers, we will overcome, and we will see the kingdom of Messiah come to this earth, and we will reign with him. Therefore, do not be discouraged. Do not be defeated by those that may rise up and threaten otherwise. Just a thought. As we continue on then with the study of Yitzhak and his family as they develop, let's look at something that applies to us in our day. The immediate mention of his continuing generations are Esau and Yaakov, Esau and Jacob. As we are going to watch how their relationship deteriorates and how they are going to build these two peoples that are going to consistently and constantly fight one another up until our day, let's also understand that the continuing of their generations goes into the present time, into this moment. Living here among us in the nation of America are descendants of Yaakov. We are of the genealogy, the Toldot of Yitzhak, or Isaac. America is home, or the exile land, of many of the house of Israel, the house of Joseph, or the house of Ephraim, whichever term you prefer. Of course, we're not the only one. The house of Israel is around the world and a multitude of nations, but in a large manner, or in a large portion, the house of Israel is here. And so among the generations of Yitzhak are people that we know, people that are family. Let's consider this. In World War I, the world went to war fighting in trenches dug in the earth of the nation of France predominantly. My grandfather, Charlie Phillips, went and stood knee-deep in water in the trenches, had to climb the ladders and go over the top and run toward the German lines. He saw the horrors of World War I. Thankfully, he survived and came home and raised his family, but the pain of rheumatism in his legs followed him for the rest of his life from those water-filled trenches. But he raised a family. my father included. These were the World War I, or war babies of World War I. They are known as the Great Generation. These are those that would grow up and see World War II. These are those that would fight the Great Depression. They worked hard. They learned to work together. They literally saved the world. They built a nation here in the United States. They avoided debt. No matter what it took, they did not want to go in debt. You use cash and you always save more than you spend. These work ethics did not necessarily pass on to the next generation, though, who were the baby boomers. I myself am a baby boomer. And we were the Save the World revolutionaries. We thought we were going to fix everything. We are the TV generation. Black and white TV, yes, but we are the TV generation. Unfortunately, we also saw the increase of divorce. We developed an ethic that you can party hard and still get up the next morning and go to work. Self-focused, but we worked together. We were optimistic. We were driven. We accepted authority and the keeping of traditions, but we were also the rock and roll generation. We protested the establishment. The drug culture built up at our time. And the idea was buy now with credit and you can pay tomorrow. We gave rise then to Generation X, who were the latchkey kids. They grew up alone. Parents were often divorced, so they were individualistic. Nobody else was around. We save our neighborhoods and let everyone else take care of the rest of the earth. You were cynical. You were misunderstood. You were angry at the boomers who devoured everything. Your mantra was buy it, use it, throw it away, and get another one. In came the millennials. And this is the politically correct generation. This generation is smothered by their parents, protected by their parents, scheduled by their parents, policed by their parents. They're technical experts. While the Generation X grew up with computers, the millennials grew up with the internet. They are the global village. Everything should be better. Everything should be fair. You're the ones that got the participation trophies. No one loses. No one wins. You're safe. You're secure because you're cuddled. And the mindset for many of the millennials is hold my hand and just help me feel safe. This generation is followed by a current trend of young people, Generation Z, we're told. Where my generation was TV, the next one was computers, the following was the internet. Generation Z is the generation of the handheld phone. The connection to the world is held in the palm of their hand. Gamers, those that will while away their hours secluded, looking at visual stimulation, little connection to the world, and angry. Very, very angry, very apt to be confused, very apt to be taught that which infuriates them, and they're spilling into our streets and tearing up and bombing and firebombing and radically accusing, using hurtful and abusive language. These are the progressives. They have no future. They don't know what to expect. Easily led. But the thing that is common in all of these generations, we stem from Yaakov. Many of us in these multiple generations. And while one generation is angry at the other and confused and unattached from the other, and we fail to know how to interact, Messiah Yeshua died for all of us. And he's trying to write us all in. And he's trying to include all of us in his kingdom. We just have to figure out how to get that job done. To include those and not write them off. Think about it. We'll see you again tomorrow. Till then, shalom.